God of War Ragnarok just dropped for PC, and we are going to find out, can we play this game on the Steam Deck? And we're going to check out all the different settings from low, medium, high, ultra, and we're going to test out multiple different levels of FSR 3 because this game supports that right out of the box. Without any further delay, let's start. Okay, we're going to start things off nice and easy. Low presets, FSR 3.1 at native resolution. Outside in the open world, we are getting a solid high 30 frames per second, never going below like a mid 30 frames per second. And it's looking freaking awesome on this OLED screen. This is so good to see that a brand new port that just dropped today is looking and running this great on the Steam Deck in 2024. A lot of people are still just griping away at the Steam Deck and just giving it a bunch of crap that it's not powerful enough and blah, 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 blah. But look at this. This looks so good. I am so excited to have God of War Ragnarok finally out on PC, and I'm going to be able to play it on the Steam Deck. And it looks like this. And this is at native FSR. Oh man, so good. Look at this. Looking so good. We're going to definitely go through a bunch of different settings, but I'm pretty convinced that I'm actually going to probably play it on these settings, which makes it really nice and easy because this is basically just stock right out of the gate and you're ready to play on the Steam Deck. And it's just running so good. Almost locked in at a 40 frames per second, which is incredible. Low is easy work, so we're going to bump things up to medium, and we're not going to change anything else. So right away, we are experiencing a little bit of a problem here. Going from low to medium, we're now getting a mid 25 frames per second. So we are not going to be getting the FSR native at medium settings. Just give it a little bit more, run around for a minute, but it doesn't look like this is going to be an option for us, unfortunately. However, FSR scaling is pretty impressive, so I wouldn't doubt if you really wanted to play it at medium settings that you could just go to a different, like balanced or something on FSR. At medium settings, I'm wondering if we go inside somewhere, if we could at least be getting 30 frames per second. Oh yeah, huge jump. Easy 30 to 40 when we're inside. But that doesn't really help us because we'd be going inside outside so often that it's just not going to be worth having to change the settings, you know, every time you walk inside or outside. But yeah, when you're inside, no problems. Easy above 30 frames per second, often into the 40s. I just need to get back outside. Just a huge drop when you go from inside to outside at medium. Okay, so let's try dumping the FSR quality down to quality from native. So this is going to bring us to 520p essentially on the Steam Deck, and it will upscale it. And it's so close. Like right away, we're almost now getting a 30 frames per second. Maybe now we are mid 30s, 32. Man, and FSR is just so incredible. Like the upscaling is remarkable, especially on these smaller screens. It becomes like very usable for sure. But to be honest, like I'm not totally noticing that big of a difference from low to medium to make it worth it for me to be using these settings. But if you wanted to, you're getting like a 30 plus frames per second experience now. Just going to FSR quality. Okay, now we're getting to dangerous territory. Heading to high settings. We're gonna keep it at quality. You know, we'll see what happens here. It's like really close. It's more than I was thinking. I thought we'd, you know, experience another dip to low 20s, mid 20s the entire time. But like this is jumping into 30, 31 frames per second often. And it feels pretty smooth, actually. If I wasn't looking at that counter up in the corner, it is almost feeling like a solid 30 frames per second. But man, if you got into, you know, like an intense battle with a bunch of people in the frames and whatnot, I'm sure this would just dump down to like 23 frames per second, right at the time when you would not want that to be happening. But just running around solo, it's like really trying, but unfortunately it's just hanging too much in the, you know, high 20s, not staying consistent at that 30 frames per second. And then just for fun, why not go to Ultra settings, stay at quality here for a minute just for entertainment. Okay, surprisingly, this didn't make as big of a jump from high to Ultra. Like, we're still staying at the high 20s. Like, I don't feel like we lost any performance here going from high to Ultra. The only thing I am noticing, we haven't hit like a 30 or 31 frames per second. It's now pretty locked in at a mid 20, high 20s. So yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody's gonna be playing this on the Steam Deck at Ultra settings. But you know, it's always fun to check out how far we can push this device and how it's running and functioning. And this is honestly pretty impressive. There we go, it hit 30 frames per second for a second. High to Ultra doesn't seemingly have much of an impact. Very close in performance. If we change FSR from quality to balance, which, look at that, it changes it to like 464p or like a 720p upscale. Which again, the upscaling is kind of crazy. Like, that looks decent. That looks good, which is wild. I don't understand. They're getting so good at it. But this is giving us so close to 30. Like, it's almost giving us a solid 30 frames per second, which, again, just so nice to see. FSR 3.1 is looking incredible and so helpful for the Steam Deck with these new titles that are coming out. Again, this is ridiculous. We're at Ultra settings. I don't think anybody's going to be doing this, but it's just crazy that you almost can. Okay, I just need to see it hit 30 frames per second. So let's bring quality, maybe performance could do it for us. Let's go. Come on. 30 frames per second. Just ignore that 27. Just don't look at it. Pretend that's not happening. This is so close. Oh man, it's so close. High 20s, often 30 plus. In these littler areas, jumped into the 35 frames per second. In the bigger, more open areas, we're getting like a 27 to 30 frames per second. That's kind of crazy. Like, this is for sure playable if you want to be locked in at 30 frames per second and you want to play at Ultra settings. Like, what are we talking about here? This is the Steam Deck, right? This shouldn't be doing anything close to this. Very impressive how good FSR 3.0 is compared to where we used to come from FSR to FSR 2. FSR 3 is a massive jump forward where even playing on performance, it's like very usable, where it used to not be. It was pretty garbage. But this is awesome. Holy cow. Okay, this is enough of Ultra. That's kind of overkill and ridiculous. So now let's see if we stay at performance, but we go all the way back to low. Let's go! 70 frames per second. This is feeling really nice. If this would just stay locked above 60, which it looks like it's going, okay, just below 60. So if you were in like a intense battle, lots of effects was going on, there were people everywhere, it probably dipped down to like 50 maybe. But like, yo, this is looking so good and solid. Again, FSR just really saving the day here. Performance is looking really good. Low settings on this game also looks awesome. This is the same with God of War, the first one, 2018 release. Like, the low settings look incredible. Especially on these smaller screens, I just don't know if it's worth jumping up from low to medium or high or ultra, because yeah, I just don't know if it's giving enough for the cost of the frame rate. Where this, on the Steam Deck, in 2024, above 60 frames per second! Gosh dang, this is gonna be so fun to play. Oh man, you guys! And this is pretty much what it would play like on the LCD version, which you can pick up right now for like $296, less than a Switch. And you could play this, and it would look like this, and it would be awesome. And oh my gosh, the Steam Deck doesn't quit. Dang, this is looking great. Let's change FSR. Quality performance is going so great that I want to jump to balance and see if we're still gonna get like 60 frames per second or something very close, because then I take back what I said earlier where I was talking about like just keeping it in native and low settings. This might actually be more the move to get a locked 60 plus frames per second FSR balance. Let's freaking go. And I've got 47% battery left, and I've still got over an hour. So at a full charge, we're getting over 2 hours of gameplay like this. Not too shabby. Balanced, low settings, easy work, looks incredible. Can't freaking wait to get into this game more. And when I'm like having to travel, jump on an airplane, slap on my Viture XR Pro glasses. The Viture Pro XR glasses are the way to go. 1080p, 120 hertz, super bright, and if you buy them, use my code Joshua Gray, and you'll get 10% off all the accessories, and I get a kickback, which helps me make more of these types of videos. Kick it back and play this game? Oh guys, it's crazy. It's great. You gotta love the Steam Deck and what Valve has created here, and just how efficient and great, and how things just work. And Steam OS, not that freaking Windows crap. Amazing. All right, and then just for fun, like we did on the extreme side of using ultra settings, let's bring this to ultra performance, lowest settings, and just see how crazy we can get. Can we get 90 frames per second? I don't know. Again, how does it? We are. It just hit 90. And also, why does it look this good? Why? FSR, how are you? What is this black magic? This should just look despicable. But it doesn't somehow. I mean, by no means does this look as good as like native, but I mean, it's playable. Not bad. And we're getting 80 plus frames per second? You gotta be kidding me. High 70s, into the 80s. This is just like some magic going on here in the background. Oh, you know where we could get 90? Locked. Let's just go inside. Oh yeah, it's gonna switch right about here. Come on. Dude, this means the ROG Ally is just gonna crush. Okay, it just went to 90 when I went in the corner there. So if you just look at a wall, boom, 90 frames per second on the Steam Deck, brand new God of War Ragnarok, Sony port to PC. Come on. 2024. Don't believe all these haters who are telling you that the Steam Deck isn't holding its ground. Like, what else? What more could you need? What do they want? They want like a full-blown desktop PC. So just get one of those. Don't get a handheld. Jeez, you guys. The Steam Deck is just unparalleled, guys. Nobody can compete. The price is so good. Everything works so good. It looks so good. Like the screen, still better. I like it a lot more. It's working awesome. Were you thinking about getting this game for your Steam Deck? Well, you absolutely should. You should not hesitate. Get it now. Because it's only gonna get better when they do some updates. And it's already running insanely good. This is gonna be such a fun game to play through on the Steam Deck. I played through so much of the original God of War on my LCD Steam Deck that I'm very excited to experience this on the OLED Steam Deck. Make sure to subscribe, leave a comment. We are on the march to 10,000 subscribers, and we are getting dangerously close. So thank you all so much, and I will see you in the next one.